Hello guys, in this video we are going to continue where we left off. So last time, let me run this first, npm run dev, so that we will be able to see the login component that we previously created. So this is the one that we did last time. So now the only problem that we have is that even though we are able to log in the user and authenticate the user, jack up traits. Okay, so that's fine. When we logged in, we are taken to the dashboard. But if we log out, if we manually remove the access token from the local storage, I'm gonna delete that, we are still able to see the dashboard, which is a problem. We're supposed to protect this page, and now in this video we are going to do that. Okay, so let's continue on. So the plan is we are going to separate a specific route list for authenticated pages and a separate route list for the unauthenticated route list. So what I wanted to do is that I'm going to create a separate object here for this, and I'm gonna say authenticated routers, so because I wanted this one to supposed to have the list of all the routers that are only accessible when the user is authenticated. So I'm gonna call this, you can name this whatever you want, it doesn't matter, as long as the variable is descriptive enough that you can trace it in the future, that's fine. Okay, so, and another one is the unauthenticated router. So unauthenticated router, that one. Okay, so we have this page here. So we have the dashboard, the login and settings. The only pages that we have for now is the dashboard and the settings. These are the pages that we're supposed to allow users to only have access when they logged in. So it would just make sense that we put this here on this object here, on this variable. So to do that, let's change this. We're not going to include the login here. What I wanted is that I'm just going to paste in the dashboard as the index page, and when the user visits the dashboard permalink explicitly, it's still going to load the dashboard component. So let's try to see that. Okay, so apparently we don't have the access token anymore, but this is because we're gonna reload this page. Wow, that's weird, but let me just npm run dev again. Okay, Apparently this is still blank. Okay, so the next thing that we wanted to do is, okay, so we have the router authenticated, we have the this, there's still one missing here. I'm gonna put in the settings page. From settings, page settings. Alright, let's save that, and then let's just copy and paste it, because I'm not gonna type that in, so it's much faster. Settings and settings. The next one would be a router unauthenticated. So the only page that we have here is the login page, which is supposed to only be accessible when the user is not logged in. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is gonna do this right here. So we have two separate routes list here that we are gonna be we're gonna be conditionally displaying these guys here. So the plan is that once we acquired the access token, we are only gonna load this router authenticated here. So apparently this one is empty, so we are seeing a blank page here. That's just normal. So if I try to load this up, you're gonna see the dashboard, because our index page here is this one. And as you can see, if we try to visit the login page, it throws us a 404 not found error, because in our routes list we didn't have the login component. We didn't have this route here, so we only have the dashboard settings. And as you can see here, we've only passed the router authenticated, but we wanted this to be intelligent. We wanted this to be smart enough to figure out, okay, the user has access token, the server provided an access token for this user, so this user must be a authenticated user. So basically we are going to provide a logic here. So let's do that. We're going to provide a logic here to say, if there is an access token, load this router. If the user doesn't have an access token, load this routes list rather. So load this routes list. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write a Yep. Thanks GitHub Copilot for helping me out. So apparently local storage, if it's not empty, we are going to load this one. I'm just gonna copy and paste this above between the open and close parentheses, and then I'm just gonna copy and paste that again, and this time I'm gonna replace this with the unauthenticated, that one. Okay, so as you can see, it automatically reloads the page, and yeah, fair enough, we are able to see the logic is running correctly. So since we didn't have the access token here, our application automatically loaded the router unauthenticated here, and yeah, if we try to access the dashboard, it's automatically protected. So we get 404 not found. So this is how we are supposed to do this. Okay, so maybe there are lots of approaches in with regards to protecting the authenticated pages, but this is by far the simplest one that I could show you. So yeah, we're gonna stick to this, and yeah, let's continue. Okay, so now the problem is our main.jsx is kind of like a little too large for a file. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to separate these guys right here to a separate file. So previously we've created routes to separate these into files. So what I'm planning is I'm gonna write a I'm gonna create a file here, authenticated .jsx. Okay, so JSX, and I'm just gonna copy and paste this, the ones that I did here. And wait, before I copy and paste that, let me just also create another one, which is for the unauthenticated list, just to clean this up. It really doesn't matter if you want it like this, go ahead, but I'm gonna show you the much cleaner way. Okay, now I wanted this one, router authenticated, to be placed here under this file, authenticated, and to do this we are just going to paste this in, and yeah, basically we don't really have to name this. We are just going to like export default this, export default, and of course, since this is coming from the React Router DOM library, so it just makes sense to copy and paste this. Let me close this up. And we're not going to be needing the router provider here. We're going to need that on the main.jsx file. So we only need this here, this one, the create browser router hook. All right, so what else do we need? So we need the dashboard and the settings. So I'm gonna go back to the main.jsx file, and then I'm just gonna copy and paste this. Copy, then paste. Easy, right? Copy, paste. Alright, so the next one would be, okay, we're not gonna be needing this here anymore, so I'm gonna delete this. Now for the unauthenticated routes. Okay, so I'm gonna remove that there. Let me just open this up again and copy and paste this. Export default. There you go. And alright. And we are also gonna need the login page here, which apparently is the only page that we need for the unauthenticated routes. Normally when for large applications, you will have a bunch of you will have full list of routes that um, you could ever imagine be available on large applications. But yeah, it really depends upon the feature that your web application has. But yeah, for simplicity, we only have the login component here for the unauthenticated route. No, normally you have the home page, the home page, the about page, whatever page that you can think of. So we only have the login page here, so this is all set. And yeah, we're not gonna be needing this guy anymore here, and also these. Alright, so the next thing that we wanted to do is we're gonna load this router authenticated files here. So instead of doing that long code earlier, we're just gonna import those. So import, I'm gonna copy and paste this router authenticated from routes. There you go, authenticated. And this one, there you go. Import router authenticated routes. Yeah, this is the correct code. Apparently GitHub Copilot helps me out sometimes. Well, actually most of the time in writing the basic code. Okay, so what do we have here? I think this is already good, and we're not gonna be needing this anymore. Just gonna need this, and also this one. Alright. Okay, so what else? Login. Failed to resolve import page login from authenticated.jsx. Okay. Let me just let us trace this. This is a very great opportunity for us to like figure out the things that are commonly that we commonly like encounter when we are writing code here. Okay, so let's reload this. So failed to resolve import page login from routes unauthenticated.jsx. Okay, so let's find this file. Okay, obviously we made a mistake here. So page, login. So apparently it cannot wasn't able to find the login page, and I'm not sure why is that. Okay, now I get it. We're supposed to go out, so instead of just dot period slash, we're gonna say double period, so that we're basically telling JSX to like, okay, go outside the folder that I'm in. So apparently this unauthenticated user, let me just make this larger. So apparently the unauthenticated.jsx file is inside the routes file. So the first directory setup that we have here is will not work, since we are already inside a specific folder. So to get outside that specific folder, we're just gonna write the double period here, double dot, and we're gonna basically go outside it, and page okay, so page and login. All right. And then we're also going to do that on the other guys here. There you go. See that? Okay, so we didn't have the local storage yet, and if we try to visit this, still the same. It's loading up the unauthenticated list of routers here, just as we expect. Okay, so I'm gonna type in the password check of traits, and there you go. Awesome. Alright, so if I go to settings, I'm also gonna be able to do that. See this? To make this more obvious, let me change this up a bit. Settings. Well, I have a code snippet here. I have a code snippet that I just wanted to copy and paste so that you'll be able to see the well, I changed my mind. I'm not gonna copy and paste that. Let me just show you this, show you how to do it in Tailwind. Class name, and I'm gonna make this bigger. Let me go back to the dashboard. Let me close this. So we have the access token here. So let's close this up. And I'm gonna say with full text 3XL. Save that. See that? And I'm gonna say text gray 800. So it's not so the color of the text is not so strong. Font bold. There you go. And maybe I'm gonna say leading tight. Okay. I'm also gonna copy and paste this on the settings. Let me close this. Let's forget about them. And also this one. Settings. And if I go visit the settings, I'm gonna see the same. Okay, so well, we're almost done. We're almost done with the with our tutorial. The last thing we're going to do here is let's try to make the data table the data table for the list of users here. I'm gonna create a list of users here, and we're gonna see we're actually gonna try to make this a little bit more pleasant to the eye. So I'm gonna add a navigation, a sidebar navigation. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so dashboard. Let's go to the dashboard. So the dashboard, the first thing that I wanted to do here is I wanted to wrap this dashboard into a div which is equal to the height of the screen. You can actually see it, but if we try to add a BG gray 500, oh no, let's try yellow. Oh, settings. I'm actually writing on the settings here. I'm sorry about that. Let's go to the settings. So if I don't put the H screen, this div right here will only take whatever the height of the element inside it. So by putting H screen, we are making this this div right here occupy whatever it is, the height of the screen that you are currently in. Okay, so alright, so this one, settings, let's start with the dashboard. It just makes sense to go to make the dashboard as the example. Class name, H screen. There you go. So for this part right here, I'm gonna try to add the top navigation here. Top navigation, and then this part right here will be another container for the oh, I've accidentally erased that. So the top navigation, and then just I'm gonna divide this because my plan is this part right here will be just right beside the sidebar, because what I'm planning is that I wanted to put a sidebar just right beside this. So I've created a div here. And then I wanted to make this div something like something like this sidebar, and then inside this I'm gonna put this under a main, that one. So basically, if I do something like class name flex, I will basically have, oh sorry, save. So sidebar, something like this. So class name, H screen, and then let's say BG yellow 300. So something like that. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do that actually. But it's gonna be expected that it's gonna be expected that this sidebar would be that the sidebar code would be a lot would be would be a lot to like to write. So early on we are going to separate this on a separate file. Well, most of your projects you're gonna be separating files, separating components, make them a little bit easier to manage. Okay, so early on I'm gonna separate this. I'm gonna separate this sidebar navigation here on a separate file. So what I wanted to do is copy and paste it, cut this instead, and I'm gonna put this on a separate file here. Sidebar, I'm gonna call this sidebar navigation, and then I'm gonna create a React functional component for sidebar navigation. Alright, there you go. And I'm just gonna paste this in for now. Sidebar. Well, there is actually no sidebar semantic in sidebar tag on the HTML. So let's change this into a side instead. That one. Okay, so alright, now that we have this, let's go ahead and try to put this inside the let's import this inside the okay, so import sidebar navigation from component sidebar navigation. So dashboard sidebar navigation. All right. What's happening here? So apparently this one is not. Do you have a wrong spelling here? Okay, let me just that's weird. Sidebar navigation. Actually, this is correct. Okay, there you go. Settings. Alright. We have the sidebar navigation, also the top navigation. Let's not forget that. So we're also gonna do the top bar navigation later. Top bar, top navigation. Let's just call this one top navigation. And same thing, top navigation component, and yeah, this is good for now. And just copy and paste this. Top navigation. That one. And Same thing here. TopNavigation. Oh. There you go. So apparently, oh, well, let's just remove that. Okay, so let's design the sidebar navigation here. Okay, so sidebar navigation would be, I'm gonna say, I like the BG gray 200, the subtle gray color, and then inside it is the div class name flex. Just follow along. Let's go 64 BG gray, 800 H full, text gray, 100. And inside it, I'm gonna put the nav element and say class name flex. And inside it, I'm also gonna put the link from React Router DOM. Alright, so I'm gonna paste in some icon here and dashboard. Alright, that looks better. And then also I am going to like design flex item center empty for wow. I think let's just go with whatever Copilot suggests us with. Let's do that. But I don't want this here. Let's see. Not bad, but we can do better. PY6. On the other hand, let me just erase that and let's just go over with what I like. BG gray 700 hover border L4 wait up. Okay, so not gonna be needing this. Okay, so where are we? Sidebar navigation. Hover, yeah. The reason why I put this is that when I want the mouse hover here, it's just gonna like do this, make this gray, slightly gray with a border left, something like that. And also I wanted to put some, I think, BG opacity 25. And what else? Yeah. And yep, I think let's just go with this. Let me try to like add this here. Let's add this instead. Yeah, let's go with blue. It's much better to look at. And yeah, let's just copy and paste this. Wait, my prettier is not working. Control Y. Just copy and paste this. And we're gonna do something like settings. And of course, we are going to put the to dashboard. And the other one would be the to settings, so that we can freely navigate. Freely navigate here. Okay, so we don't see the sidebar navigation here because we haven't added that to the settings area. So let's go ahead and do that. Settings. Okay, what's happening here? Okay, we didn't import the top navigation and sidebar navigation, so let's do that as well. There you go. Looking good. So if I try to log out manually, so let's remove this, delete, reload the page. We are now logged out. Password, no, not that one. Jack of traits. There you go. Settings. Yeah, and the next one would be the let's do the top navigation here, and we're also gonna put the log out logic on the top navigation as well. Alright, so let's go to our, let's close this up. Let's just forget about this. We don't need that anymore. Settings. Okay, so top bar navigation. Let's open this up, and we'll try to see how we can design this little guy here. So apparently we can just remove the div here, just directly say nav. Alright. Class name would be border B gray 400. We can see a little bit of that, but it's not quite obvious yet because we haven't put a bunch of stuff here. Okay, now that we have that, let's go ahead and create the div area here. Div class name item center, justify between, flex wrap, BG gray 800, and P6. Alright, so next thing would be adding this, another div. Well, it really depends upon your creativity. You can do better. You can do better than this. Just showing you an example here. Flex shrink. Just basically you're writing CSS here. And of course, we are going to put the app name here. So to do that with Vite, we can just say where we actually have this. We actually have this article here. Let me just open up my notes here. So there is actually a way for us to like use the env file on the Vite setup. So I'm gonna visit this article here to show us how to do that. So apparently here Vite says that Vite exposes env variables on this special import meta .env object. So these are the built-in available. This is the built-in env. This is how Vite's approach of accessing your env files. So let's try to do this. Let's see if we can. So basically in my .env file, I'm gonna put the app name. I'm gonna put the app name there. So let's say, what do they have here? Oh, so you're gonna prefix it with the Vite app title, something like that. So it says here, Vite uses .env to load additional environment variables from the following files. So apparently, to prevent, if you prefix the env variable with Vite, it's going to be accessible on the front end. However, if you just directly type in db password, it's not gonna appear. So it's kind of like more secure to work with Vite with regards to this. So in our program here, let me just type in Vite app name equals React front end jack of traits. All right, and yeah, let's try to do this. Vite app name, and then here we are going to add the import dot meta at env dot. Let's try if their examples work here. So Vite app name. Okay, there you go. If I try to change that, let's go with that. It's much more. It's much shorter. Okay, so I'm gonna put this inside a span element. Class name, text 2xl, font bold. That looks much better. Okay, so what I wanted to do here is that right after this, I'm also gonna put the logout button. So the logout button here would be the button that we click so that we can log out of from our web application. And I'm gonna say logout. And we're gonna design this, and we're gonna put a little bit of design with this using Tailwind. Again, class name, px3 rounded. Now if you want to learn Tailwind, just go ahead and visit their channel. I think that was you can search it up in YouTube, the Tailwind's official YouTube channel. Border gray 600, hover text white, hover this is really quite long, but I'm gonna show you later how to shorten this up. Don't worry about it. So we have the button, and we're basically gonna have to like add an OnClick event here. OnClick, and then we're gonna say handle logout, something like that. You can name this all you want, doesn't matter. And basically we're just going to, okay, let's just go with whatever Copilot suggest here. Handle logout, and I'm just gonna console.log this for now, because I'm gonna walk you through the explanation as we write the code. Logout. So basically, if we click this, we're gonna create an API request. Make an API request, and then remove the access token from the local storage. So we're gonna do that. So, well, there is something off here. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, we're almost done here. So the next part would be, I wanted to create something like a settings page which loads up the user account, just to show you how to consume the backend REST API using this approach, using the Jamstack approach. What else? Did I miss something? Okay, so I think this is already it. Let's save this, and yeah, okay. Let's save this and go to the, let me go back to the dashboard page and let me try to see. Okay, let me just, when you are using Next.js, you're not gonna be doing this approach. It's gonna be a lot easier. You don't have to create the routes of your own, because it's gonna Next.js already has a built-in routing system where you just add files, and then it's just gonna go directly to, just gonna create you this one. It's much simpler. But since this is, we are building things with React, here we do the manual stuff. I'm gonna be maybe I'm gonna be doing some Next.js videos in the future, but who knows? You can send me in your request, and we'll try to do that. But anyways, okay. Dashboard. So we're also gonna, we don't need to do this in Next.js. We just have a layouts file, and then there you go. Settings, dashboard. Okay. Alright, so the last topic for this video is, we're gonna create the logout functionality here. So when you log in, we're gonna be redirected to the dashboard, and then when we log out, we're gonna be redirected back to the login page. So let's do that here. Let's make the logic here. So obviously we're gonna need Axios here. So we're gonna import Axios from Axios, and then I'm gonna say Axios dot post, and then I'm gonna say dot then then that one. For now, let's not include the dot catch. We're not gonna be needing that here. And also, the dot post would be the first. This actually receives um, 3 parameters. So the 3 parameters here. So the first one would be the URL. So wait, let me just review the API request that we have here in Postman. Okay, so we have the localhost 8000 API v1 users, and the logout is also API v1. So let's go ahead and just use the backtick, and then this one. Let's go ahead with what GitHub Copilot suggest us. And the second parameter here for the post method is the data that you're going to pass. Well, obviously we are not going to pass anything to the body of the form, so we're just going to make it null. Now the next parameter that you need to pay attention to is the headers. Okay, so in the headers, in Axios, we are, since we are logging out, if we go back to our API, this v1 API this logout endpoint here, we're basically going to pass the bearer token on the headers of our request. So the format would be bearer token, and then we're gonna pass in the access token here. So the format would be the format of the file would be arranged like this, and just follow along. And then right inside is the authorization bearer, and then the token that you have on your local local storage. So authorization bearer, local storage, get item access token. So let's go ahead with this. I guess this is okay. Yeah, just write that down. So we're passing in the authorization bearer, and then notice that I'm using the backtick character here, so we can use the interpolation feature of JavaScript. And we're basically just passing in the local storage, the access token from the local storage. Yeah, I think this is correct. But we're gonna test this out. Okay, so right after we send the request, we are going to wait for it to finish, and the way we do that is we're gonna put the code under the .then callback function, the callback function, and then we're gonna wait for the server to like give us the go signal. Okay, the token was removed, so you can remove the access token now. To To do this, let's just remove the access token here directly. Okay, and yeah, there you go. So we're gonna remove that. So let's see this in action. Okay, so inspect tool, application. So apparently we have the access token here. If I click the log out, it's gonna send a request to the server, and it says you have successfully logged out. And then if we go back to the local storage, you can see that the access token is gone. But we didn't put the redirection feature here. So if we're just gonna manually reload this page and go back to the login page. So let's do that. But as you can see, we are logged out from the system. So this is how you do it. So window.location href, that one. Let's go ahead and redirect to the login page. It's quite a good habit to add comments to each code, to each of the lines of the code. If so in the future, if you like move to other projects and then go back to your code, you're not gonna be like a stranger to your own code, because you're able to see what this code does by not having to like scratch your head out for like for long hours of scrutinizing your code. Okay, so it's a good habit to always put comments on your code. It just helps you as a developer. Let me just log out. And Axios post request to log out. Yeah, let's go with that. And also, yeah, I'm also gonna add a comment here. We're almost there. Handle the logout. Let's go with that. Okay, let's try that again. Jack of traits. Oh, login. Logout. It removes the access token. Alright, so there you have it. Let's try to see what maybe there are things that we missed here. Okay, so we have this. We have all the comments in place. Yeah, there's one last thing that I would like you to do. Since this is pretty much static here, most of the time you're gonna be deploying. No, almost all the time you're gonna be deploying your application to different servers, and it's just makes sense that you're not gonna always be needing the localhost 8000 as a static value here. So we need to find a way to like make this a variable, and to do that is we're gonna cut this. And then go to our file, put this in our .env file, and then we're gonna say something like it's really up to you. API URL for 8,000. There you go. So whenever you change the value of the .env, depending whether you're on the production server or you're on the development server, just like what we have right now, what we are in right now, you're gonna be needing this. You're gonna be needing this approach. So you can easily just change the value in one place. And yeah, let's try this approach. Put this here as this one. Just gonna import the value of the meta.env Vite. So in this way, we are able to, we can make the endpoint URL, the endpoint URL of your backend REST API dynamic. So when you are in the production server, and then you're gonna change this into something like yourwebsite.com/APIs. So you won't be changing all these files where you put this API request every time you deploy your app. So you're just gonna change the .env file, and then they're just gonna change whatever it is that you put on your .env file here. So this makes it dynamic access post. All right, so let's see if we still have that. Let's see if we didn't break our own functionality here. So jack up traits. Okay, still working. So in the next video, I'm gonna be loading up the list of the users here. Users, maybe do some database data table stuff, and yeah, we're gonna like delete users, edit users, something like that. Okay. All right, so see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.